Hello everybody, I'm Lorenzo Marchessi and I'm here right at the beginning of this video we're about to watch to remind you to subscribe to my channel. It's very helpful if you do, and also please tell your friends, your family members, and share it if you can. Love to hear your comments and feedback, but just want to make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching and we'll see you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Geek Authority Show. I'm your host, Lorenzo Marchessi, and of course, this is the show where I get to talk to all kinds of people: actors, writers, directors, cosplayers, producers, publicists, musicians, authors. There's very few people I've talked to, even a magician. But today I have an extra special guest. He's a graphic designer. He's an actor. He's done some producing. He's all over on the scale of entertainment. His name is Doug Haverty, and welcome, Doug. This is so exciting for me to have you on my show.
Thank you, Lorenzo. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. I've known you for a while. You've done several productions with the Group Rep and other production companies as far as theater. As far as I'm concerned, you're one of the better actors out there on stage, and it's always a delight to see you. But let's talk about where it all began. I understand you're from Sacramento. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Grew up in Central California.
Okay. So did you get the acting bug there, or did you move to LA, or?
No, I got it there. I started out in church choir, and then that moved to school choir, and then that moved into being in plays. My first play was when I was in the 7th grade. It was The Wizard of Oz, and I hadn't grown yet, so I was still small. So I was a munchkin. I was mayor of Munchkin City. And I had a huge crush on Dorothy, who was in the 9th grade, and it was hopeless.
Wow. And what age were you? 7, you said?
I was in 7th grade, so I think 12.
Okay. And that's something you went out and said, I want to try this? Or did your parents kind of give you a little nudge?
No, my parents knew nothing about theater. They what are you doing? Why do you have to go to play practice so much?
Okay. So it started then, and I'm assuming continued in high school?
Yes, high school, college. And then I did 3 years of summer stock while I was in college. And then after I graduated, I came to LA.
Okay. So what kind of summer stock? Was it Shakespearean? Was it
it
classic?
was all of oddly enough, the 3 summer stocks I did were actually summer rep, where it's a company of actors who gather, and you do 5 or 6 plays over the course of the summer. So in the first 2 weeks, you rehearse a musical, then you open it. And then in the daytime, you start rehearsing play 2 while you're performing play 1 at night. And then at the end of the 3rd week, you open play 2, and then you start rehearsing play 3 while you're performing play 1 and 2 during the night. So you just keep adding plays in until you get to all 6 plays are open, and then you do a different play every night.
So you're telling me you have absorbed 6 productions, the lines for 6 plays, rehearsed, blocked, choreographed, whatever.
Yeah.
And you knew each show every night?
Yes.
Oh my, is that common?
Lorenzo, it was so much fun. I mean, imagine you have this company of like 25 actors, and everyone is thrown into this hurricane of putting plays up. But that's all we did. We didn't have to do day jobs or anything else. They fed us three squares a day, and we rehearsed and did plays at night. And then finally, at the end of 7 weeks, we had all 6 plays open, and we had our daytimes free. And so the summer stocks were usually at some vacation resort. And so we had all day to play around and then just do a different play every night. This was like heaven for an actor.
Wow. So what's the, I mean, I've never heard of that. I mean, I've known some people do maybe do two plays at a
Yeah.
time. How did you keep all the, I mean, did you ever say the wrong line in the wrong play?
There was one time we were doing a musical called Oh, What a Lovely War. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I haven't.
It's an English sort of music review, and there's all these old war songs that we do like production numbers, and then across the top of the proscenium there are statistics of all the wars throughout time and how many people were killed. So it's sort of like a comment on war, but there was a kind of a running part where there were three soldiers that came out and we sang war songs. And one time this was the sixth play. So we were sort of like on memory overload. Two of us started singing one song and one of us sang another song. And then we all switched to the other song and then we switched back. So it was
Nobody knew
a kerfuffle, but that's about the only time that
nobody
happened.
knew but you guys, right? Or did the audience catch?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who knew. What it looked like probably was three drunk soldiers trying to sing war songs.
How funny. That's interesting because I never knew you did musical theater as well. I mean,
Yeah,
you did a lot of it. Do you have a favorite production that you did?
in fact, one of those summer stock productions was Carnival. I don't know if you know Carnival.
Yeah, yeah.
And I played Jaco, the co-puppeteer. And it was just magic because we did the puppets ourselves. In some productions, they have other actors do the puppets, but we did the puppets. And we had a sheer black curtain that separated us from where we could see the puppets and Lily, and we could see the audience. So it's that rare thing where you get to be characters and watch an actor on stage and then also see the audience. And the audience just loved those puppets, those characters. So
Wow.
that was really fun.
Okay. So I understand too, you went to New York as well.
Yes, I've spent a lot of time in New York.
Okay. When did that happen? At what point?
I think the first time I went to New York was in 1980. One of the career things that I've done is I've worked at three different record companies, and I had to go to New York for work. And of course, you're there for work. You do the meetings or whatever you have to do, and then you have your night free. So of course, I went to Broadway. and saw my first Broadway show was 42nd Street.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that was really exciting. I had seen touring shows that came through, but it was really fun to see that play on Broadway.
And you were blown away by the production.
Blown away. And also, I don't know if you know the story of 42nd Street, but on opening night after the show opened, David Merrick came out and said that the director had died. So that was opening night, and I was there the second night. So there was still a buzz in the air.
Wow.
But it was brilliant.
So what did you do for the record companies? Are you?
I did. Yes, I did. I've done all kinds of things at different record companies, from merchandising, publicity, promotion, sales, marketing, and international contract administration. I mean, just.
And you're still doing the design and all that right now.
Yes. All three record companies that I worked at all got sold. And the third one, I had profit sharing. So I said, okay, I'm going to set up my own business. So I opened up my own graphic design firm, and I had made some contacts in the music business. So I've been doing that ever since.
Okay. And while you're doing all your traveling and obviously your, let's call it a day job for lack of better terms, were you still doing theater at the time?
Yes, and I had to. it was interesting. At one point, I was working at the record company and loving it. I mean, I'm a huge music fan. I used to save my lunch money so I could buy a record at the end of the week.
Record, those are those round things?
Yes, yeah, the licorice pizza. And so for me, working at a record company was like being a kid in a candy store. And at the time, I accepted a temporary job at the record company. And I was working as a day player on Days of Our Lives. So they would use me 2 days or 3 days a week, or sometimes no, it would fluctuate. And I could always leave A&M. Well, I was working at A&M Records, which was Herb Alpert's record company, and go do the soap. And eventually I got so immersed in the projects that we were doing at A&M that when they called me from the soap, just kind of the perfunctory, okay, so we have you down for 3 days next week. Are you available? And I said, no. Oh, okay. Well, then we'll get you later. And so they called, I don't know, 2 weeks later and said, okay, so we have you 2 days next week. Are you available? And I said, no. And they said, well, do you want us to take you off the active list? And I said, let me think about that. And so then I took a day and thought about it. And I actually made the decision that I would rather be at the record company and continue with the projects I was doing. And then that turned into a full-time job.
Wow. And what year was this?
This was the late 70s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when there was like, 10 labels out there too.
Yeah, and the late 70s, early 80s was the records, the CDs, they were, everything went platinum. It was great. It was a great time to work in the record.
And I know I'm dating myself, but I used to get 45s. I used to get the albums. I have the original, I still have it, the original soundtrack to Star Wars, the original 77 release was a double album. It came with a picture slit and everything. And I think I paid like $5 for it or something, when records were like reasonable.
Yeah.
And then let's comment on that. How has the music industry changed with the development of CDs first? And now I believe everything has gone MP3s, digital.
Yeah. Well, as I've learned, because I've been in it for so long, it is constantly changing. So I remember at one point we had 8-tracks and LPs and cassettes. So like if you were designing something, you had to design all those different formats. And then CDs came, and I was working at A&M at the time, and Herb Alpert was not a fan of a CD because he didn't think it was organic. He may still feel this way, I don't know. But when you're playing a vinyl record, you have a natural piece of tar. I mean, that vinyl is made from tar and it's organic. And when the diamond goes into the groove and plays the music, it's finite. Every time you play it, it wears it down, it wears it down, it wears it down. And it's organic happening. Whereas CDs, it's all light. And the master tapes are videos. So when you play a CD, you can play it over and over and over and over and over and over again, and there's no degradation. So Herb always felt that it's fake, it's not organic. So he fought the development of CDs for a long time, and then eventually, had to give in. And it was interesting too. I don't know if you remember this, but when CDs first came out, all the record stores were terrified that they would be shoplifted. So we had to put them in long boxes. Do you remember that?
I remember.
There was a long, tall box and the CD rested in the top of it, and you had to tear it open and throw it away. But they didn't want to build.
Not only that, I remember when you could buy the CDs and some had the shrink wrap, some didn't, but they also added a, I don't know what they call it, like a glued on seal, so to speak. And not only did you have to take it out of the box, unwrap it, but then there was this freaky seal on it. It took forever to get that gum off. And like, I remember, oh yeah. And for those out there, those millions of people out there watching this who don't know, there was a format called 8-track. Basically, it was a large format tape in a box, literally a box that you punched into this machine. And I guess the tracks were like 4 levels of recording. Is that how that worked?
Yeah. So it was just a wide tape, like much wider than a cassette tape. And there were 4 levels, and each one had 12 minutes on it. And it would shift to a new level right in the middle of a song. You'd hear this kerchunk, and it would just.
My parents had one in the car, and it was hysterical to watch them do that. And then cassette came out, and everybody became familiar with pencils. Couldn't have a cassette tape without your pencil.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so talk about your first. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, as a designer, we had to design all these different formats. We still had to design a 12 by 12 format because that's what they put up on the walls in the stores. We still had to design cassettes. We still had to design the long box and the CD. And then the cassettes went away. And now CDs are kind of going away. It depends on the genre. Most people are just downloading. And now LPs are coming back. I don't know if you've seen that. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I could buy ET on vinyl now, and it's got a picture, and it's blue, and it's but
all of a sudden hip.
But it's $50. See, it's no longer $5. They're like,
right. Yeah.
Why is that? Why are they more expensive?
Well, right now they're more expensive because the manufacturing. The numbers are so small that the manufacturing costs more. If it ever gets to a point where it catches on like wildfire, then those costs will come down.
Wow. And I haven't played it in probably 10 years. I still have a record player.
Me too.
Yeah, I haven't used it because everything that I have on vinyl, I have on CD now. So what's your opinion of, here's another philosophy I've also heard about the music. Some people prefer that, like you said, organic, crackly pop of the vinyl, but others are like, no, I want that crisp recording and those instruments and that, digital perfection. Where are you with that?
I like the digital perfection, and I love the convenience, the clarity, and being able. And I also like iTunes. I like to create my own playlists and shuffle it so it. When you create a playlist and then you shuffle it so you hear it in a different order, it makes it more refreshing. I don't know. I like it all.
Yeah, I mean, I used to like records, but I have to agree with you. I like the digital and the fact that you can take it anywhere, put it on your phone, put it on your car, to put on your computers, whatever. And with the wireless Bluetooth thing now, you can literally take it anywhere.
So
cool.
Lorenzo, I was going to tell you, there was one time where I was working for the record company and also being a playwright, because that was my segue about the record company. Was it was really hard for me to be in a play while I was working at the record company, but I could be a writer. I had been writing since high school, and if I'm on a plane to London, that's like 10, 12 hours of time that I could write. So I focus more on my playwriting then. But I was working for the record company here in LA, and we had just signed a distribution deal with a new label in New York. So that meant I had to go to New York. I had to. I had to stay in a hotel. They had to fly me there. They had to put me up, and I had to do all these meetings.
You were miserable. Were you miserable?
I know. God, New York, it's so cold, it's so hot, it's so busy. Oh, well, I'll go. And but what was interesting was I had written a musical with Adrian Russ that we did at the group rep, and it caught on like wildfire. It was supposed to run for 5 weeks. It ran for 5 months, and then it was done at the Colony. And then eventually it was done in the Village, at the Village Theater Company in Manhattan. And then it was going to be done at the Cherry Lane Theater off Broadway. And right when this was happening was when I had to go to New York. So it was such a dilemma that, I'm going to have to be in New York while my play is opening there. That's horrible. But it
So what was the
was
name of the play? What play?
Inside Out.
Really?
It's a musical about 5 women in group therapy. And I would be very happy to give you a CD anytime you want. It's actually there's a little section about it on my website there. So you can
I would love a CD, especially.
Yeah.
Have you done it at the group rep?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It started at the group rep.
Okay.
And we actually did a revival of the group rep. And then in 2015, we did an anniversary show at the Grove Theater in Burbank.
Okay.
And
all right.
This play has been done around the world. I saw it in Zurich in English. And in October of 2018, it opened in Belgrade, translated into Serbian. And it was a huge hit. And it ran from October 18 all the way down to March of 2020 when the pandemic closed everything down. So who knows? It could have still been running if we didn't have this damn pandemic.
Okay. And when the world comes semi back to normal and we can go to theaters, will you put it up again? Here?
Probably.
Los Angeles?
If I could have a wish, it would be that I would have a sit-down production of Inside Out that could just run year-round. Because every time we do it, people just fall in love with it, and they come back, they bring their friends.
What do you mean sit-down production? What does that mean?
Like it just runs forever. It's not. It's an open-end run.
And you alternate cast as
yeah.
people
So we'd have maybe 3 people cover each part. So if somebody needed to go out to be in a movie or do something else, then we just so Sylvia's going in for the next 3 weeks.
Oh,
kind of thing.
That would be great.
So I'll just put that out there.
Absolutely,
Lorenzo, to your millions of fans here, if there's anyone out there that wants to do that, just have.
And once we get to your sites, you're going to show us where it is we can.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, that's a good segue. How did you get involved with Group Rep Theater? Because you've been with them for how long?
Over 30 years.
Wow. So you were 10. You were 10.
I was a child. Yeah, I was a child when I joined. No, I sent a play in. They had a playwrights unit, and I sent a play in. And Lonnie Chapman was the artistic director then, and he called me. He said, "Yeah, I like your play. Come on down." So
that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're part of the regular company, right? Are you on the board, or are you?
I am part of the regular company, and I've been on the artistic council for about 7 years. And then in 2019, they asked me to become artistic director.
Wow.
So in 2019, I started planning the season for 2020, because that's what the artistic director does. And we had this huge launch. We had a subscriber party where we invited previous subscribers and revealed the season. And it was very exciting. And we had a subscription drive, and we did really well. And we got the first play open, and it was scheduled to close on March 15th, which is when everything shut down the next day. So we got that first play open. And then, I don't know if you remember at the beginning of the pandemic, we were just going to pause. We were just going to take a pause and flatten the curve. So we kept thinking all along, okay, well, then we're going to keep going. We'll just pause and then keep going. So we had 2 plays in rehearsal, and we just kept rehearsing.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard that story from every theater company I've talked to. They had their year planned out. I'll be honest, some of the theaters are no longer with us because they couldn't survive.
I know. And I'm hoping we can survive. I thought I was going to be artistic director, and we haven't, we have 2 theaters. So we would normally have 12 plays a year plus projects. and I was relaunching Lonnie Chapman's playwrights unit. So we were starting to have play readings. We were developing a new musical. I want it to be a kind of think tank where other theaters come to us and say, do you have any musicals about this? Or what do you have that's new that we might be interested in? That's the ultimate goal.
Wow. So obviously we have to wait till, the rules and the government and all that stuff as far as
Yes.
the pandemic. But
Yes.
do you see us going back to what it was, or going back, but it's going to be a lot different?
Well, Lorenzo, I am the eternal optimist. I guess you'd have to be for to accept this kind of position, but I'm feeling that once we reopen, there's going to be a resurgence of passion for the theater. People have been deprived of it, where before they had taken it for granted. So now I'm thinking they're just going to flock to the theater. That's my hope.
Is this the young star to be?
This is me. I think I'm 3 there. And look at that beautiful shirt, and it's filthy.
Yeah, it's kind of got a Partridge Family vibe to
Yeah.
it. Okay, what do we got going here? I love this one. Good headshot. Well, it's not really a headshot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's interesting because it was a headshot session, and this is with Leslie Baum, and I just really liked it. I thought it worked well for writer and actor.
Okay, what do we got going here?
At one point when I was working for the record company, I let my hair grow long, and until my daughter said, "Dad, you look like you're trying to be an old hippie. Just get it cut." But this was I don't, and it took me, I think, probably 3 weeks to grow that stubble.
Oh, what's this? What production?
This is Lend Me a Tenor.
Oh,
have you ever seen Lend Me a Tenor?
I have.
Well, I was Max, the young guy who works at the opera, who has to dress up as Othello in blackface. Oh my God, this was so much fun.
And who's the actor with you?
Fun. That's Chris Winfield, and he was the co-artistic director previous to me accepting it. He and Larry Eisenberg were the co-artistic directors for 10 years.
And this is group rep, right?
Yeah.
Is everything you sent me all group rep?
I no, not everything is.
Okay. Oh.
There's Chris again, and this is Lloyd Peterson, and this is My Three Angels.
Wow. I remember Lloyd too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This shot. This is Hotel Paradiso. And I am Monsieur Martin, and he is an attorney who unfortunately has a problem. Whenever it rains, he stutters. That's the device in that play. And so this is one of those, it's raining outside, so I'm trying to tell her something. I'm stuttering. That's why that face looks like that.
Broad expression, yeah.
Well, I was stuck. Oh, this is Defying Gravity by Jane Anderson. And I play Monet, the painter. So in her concept, some of the astronauts have said that when they look at Earth from the space capsule, it looks like a Monet painting. So she put Monet up in the capsule, and he kind of narrates the play. And
so, how did you take? Is this photoshopped, I assume?
Well, I guess I can reveal that I was shot against a green screen, and then the director put me into that background. This is Where's Charlie? And now this is I'm on the left, and then that's Dorothy, my wife, and that is Mindy Sterling. Do you know Mindy Sterling?
I do.
From Austin Powers.
Yes.
She plays Frau.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I saw her. The last time I saw her, they were at I think it's called the Gary Marshall Theater now.
Yes. Yeah. This was one of the first plays that she had just moved here from Miami, and I had just moved here from Northern California, and this is the first play we did.
Ah, Lloyd again.
Lloyd again.
Same play though, right?
Same play, yeah. I love that costume.
Yeah, I love the jacket. That's a jacket, right? Yeah.
You know what that is? That's a nightshirt and
Oh.
a robe, because the convicts are living with us in the house, and it's early morning.
Wow. Ooh.
There's Carnival. Remember I was telling you about Carnival?
Yep. And
So
you're backstage?
no, I'm Jacques. So that's the fun part about this play. I'm in the beret there, and I
Okay.
play Jacques. So he's a character on stage, and he does the puppets.
Wow.
And
And you said you
Paul,
made the puppets?
I didn't make the puppets, but I did their voices, and each one. I was Horrible Henry, the walrus there, and Marguerite, the opera singer.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So what year was this? This was when?
this is 1971.
Oh wow.
Yeah, before the turn of the century.
Oh, look at you there.
This is a play we did. This is Leslie Cavaney. I don't know if you've met Leslie.
I don't
She's
think
done a lot of plays at Theater West. Love of the Pig, and that's Steve Neville sitting in the chair there. Steve wrote this play. It's called Welcome to Heretofore, and Steve and I went to college together at the University of the Pacific in Stockton. And he wrote this play, and we rehearsed it at Theater West. We did it as part of their West Fest, and then we put it into the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Remember the Hollywood Fringe Festival?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Every year. Yep.
yeah. So this was so much fun. Oh my God, I loved being in this play with these actors, this director. Elaine Heilweil directed it. It was just heaven.
Wow. Ah,
This is another Antigone. And this was the first play we did at the Upstairs Theater at Group Rep. And
oh
that's
really?
Louis Schneider.
Okay, I believe I saw the first production. Yeah. Ah, hello.
This is The Cape and the Clan. This was another play that we did upstairs, directed by Stan Mason. And it's based on a true story. I played this reporter who went undercover in the Ku Klux Klan and wrote an article, and no one would publish it because they were afraid of repercussions, and so many newspapers were owned by people who were in the Klan. So he called his friend, that's Matthew Hoffman next to me, who was producing the Superman radio show in New York, and told him about it. And he said, you know what? How about if we did a story arc that talked about this? And he said, no, we can't. It would be too risky, and I could lose sponsors. And eventually he did. And they actually exposed the Klan through that radio show. And this is a play about that.
Wow. So what period was this supposed to be?
This was, I think, 50s.
50s. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It was when Superman was a radio show.
That's a while ago. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump to what I'm excited to hear about.
Okay.
Your websites.
Oh,
Okay. He's got 4 people. He's got 4 websites. I'm going to put them in the space below when the video drops, so you can go to them yourselves. But walk us through. What is Playworks?
Playworks is a company that I formed with Adrian Russ, because we've written several musicals together. And so we thought, well, let's put a presence on the web that talks about our musicals that we have done. So you can see about the staff. There's little bios of us.
Oh, there's Inside Out. We talked about
There's
that.
Inside Out. That is the off-Broadway Cherry Lane cast with Jan Maxwell, Ann Crum, Cass Morgan, Kathleen Mahoney Bennett, Harriet Foy, and Julie Prosser. 2 of those actresses unfortunately have left us.
Oh.
I don't
Okay.
know if you've, Jan was in the recent revival of Follies. There was one year she was nominated for 2 Tonys in the same year because she did Lend Me a Tenor and Follies.
Wow. Can I get a CD of this?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
I would love to hear.
So if you go to staff, it has there's me and there's Adrian. So this is just like a little broad strokes about us, and then you can view a full biography down below. And then
Yeah.
if you go up to existing musicals, so
Okay.
this tells about musicals that we have written together. So I Ghost is a modern adaptation of Oscar Wilde's The Canterville Ghost, and it has we aged the little heroine in the book to a college girl, and she is the whole story of Canterville Ghost is this girl is fearless, and the ghost gets frustrated because he can't scare her. So
Wow.
we thought it would be good to show this fastidious, young, smart woman who is fearless. And this is Inside Out, musical about 5 women in group therapy.
Now,
And
this page went for people who want to put these shows up. That-
yes,
Okay.
yeah, it's for people who want to put the shows up. It's for people who are maybe could be an actor or an actress looking for a scene to do in a musical or a song to do for an audition that hasn't been done and done and done. Love Again is a musical that we did at Group Rep. It was actually, we started developing it at Theater West with Betty Garrett. It was a project that Betty and I dreamed up. And this is 3 musical one acts tied together in one evening. And we produced it at Theater West, dedicated the production to Betty Garrett. And it was directed by Kay Cole. I don't know if you've met Kay Cole, who was in the original cast of A Chorus Line. She played Maggie,
Okay.
the one who sings the real high belt on Everything's
Right.
Beautiful at the ballet.
And she's also in High School Musical, right?
She directed it.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. What do we have here? Suits, samples. What are samples?
Samples, you can actually listen to some of the songs. Wherever there's a red dot, you can just click on that and listen to the song.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we have
Press.
New York Times. Look at this.
Oh,
Hey, I don't see the
wanna-
Geek Authority there. What's going on? No, just kidding.
well, have you reviewed one of my musicals? If you had, then it would be there. But I was gonna tell you a reviewer story because I thought you would like to hear a reviewer story.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
Okay, so when we were opening Inside Out at the Cherry Lane Theater, the producer came to us during previews, and he said, "So, do you know how the reviews work?" And we said, "No, we've seen movies where somebody goes down to the New York Times and picks up an early copy." He said, "Yes." He said, "But here's how it works: the reviewers come to see the play during previews, and they hold their review until the play has officially opened. So we will have reviewers coming during the previews. You won't know what show they saw. And then we'll open. We'll have a lot of celebrities at our opening. It will be very exciting. We're going to have a party. Everyone goes to the party. There will be drinks and food and merriment. And then we'll send an assistant down to the Times to pick up an advance copy of the review. That assistant will come back to the party and he will call me outside. I will go out and read the review to myself. And then, if there are good quotes, I will come back to the party and read those good quotes. If it's a bad review, I will leave. And if it's a good review, I will come in and read the entire review to all the people at the party. So we were just like nervous wrecks the whole, leading up to previews, the party. I mean, it was a spectacular party. We could walk to this restaurant. It was 2 stories. There were 400 people there. people drinking. It was an open bar, as much food as you could want to eat. I had no appetite. I didn't want to drink anything. I was just so nervous about this review. And it was one of those New York restaurants where they have two sets of glass doors to protect you from the weather, so you could see outside. So we saw the assistant come back from going, we knew that he left. And then the producer, the main producer, went outside and you could see him through the two sets of double doors reading. He must have taken a half an hour to read that review outside. And he was absolutely poker faced. It's like, okay, what's everyone was like nervous. What is it going to be? Well, he came back into the restaurant, which was a good sign.
Yes, he didn't leave.
Yeah. And then he came up to me and he said, in his complete poker face, he said, Doug, I'm going to read the whole review. It was an absolute rave. I can't explain how exciting that was to be in a room with 400 people and have the producer read the review. He could not finish a sentence where the room didn't break into applause. So we had a rave review in the LA Times with a huge picture. It was just like, oh my God, I think I used up every ounce of good review juice that I would ever get in my whole life. But that's what happens.
Very nice. And the whole cast and the crew gets that uplifting spirit and makes the show that much better. Wow.
Yeah. It was very exciting.
All right, let's go back to, where are you? There you are. Now, this is your page. What's this about? This is your acting? This is your...
this is a graphic design.
Oh, graphic design. Okay.
Yeah. So you see, if you click on theatrical postcards,
okay,
then it shows these are postcards that I've done for all kinds of different theaters.
Okay.
So, you know, it's I don't have a style. I let the play dictate the style.
Right. And do you usually get cast photos and things when you do this?
You know what? I don't.
Okay.
I prefer a key art that has just art. There was one picture there that had some people in it, but that's because that's what they wanted, and they had 2 TV stars in the show. So if you don't have stars, I think it's more important to just feature the
theme.
story.
The theme, yeah.
And these are CD covers that I've done.
Right. I see James Bond. I see
James Bond
Gorky Park. You did the Gorky Park one? Wow.
Yeah. Now that is a re-release.
Okay.
Because the original came out years ago.
Right.
But some of these I'm using studio art, and some of them I'm having to create something out of scratch.
Very cool. And then there's one more, one sheet.
Yeah, these are one sheets for shows. So like if there's a concert and a show booker wants to book a concert, I create the one sheet to sell that show. Now,
a one sheet, is that another name for a poster?
No, it's 8.5 by 11 and it's 2-sided, so it's a sheet.
Okay.
And usually they go into a binder. And then, you know, when they have performance art showcases and people come from around the country, from performing arts centers to book shows, they look through the catalog and figure out what they want to buy.
See, now we go to the group rep.
Rep.
This is the company. You are the artistic director. You
Yes.
get to guide the entertainment that we get to see.
Yes.
And anything I should go to or check out?
Well, I mean, if you just kind of scroll through this opening page here, I think you're on our virtual stage, and of course, we don't have a lot of videos on our site because we can't film existing plays unless they're original. So the blue one here.
Here I can get. Your subscriber box won't go away.
Oh, it won't? I guess it wants you to subscribe, but that's in my mind's eye. That's a play I wrote based
Which one?
on the big I there. It says Watch on Demand.
Watch on Demand, okay.
That's a play I wrote that was inspired by my 7th grade world geography teacher who was blind.
Oh, okay.
And then,
so it's a drama?
Yeah, it's actually a drama romance. And then A Carol Christmas is a musical that I wrote with Bruce Kimmel.
Is that the one with the office? She's the manager of the
Yeah,
office.
yeah,
Oh my God, I love that show.
yeah.
So how come
And
that isn't part of your other ones as far as people being able to do? On the other page?
oh, because I didn't write that with Adrian Russ.
Oh,
Those are just musicals that we've written together, and we have written those three musicals, and we're working on other ones.
okay.
Um, so that's why I think it's mentioned there. But you saw Carol Christmas, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but the girl who played the lead
Yes.
is my daughter.
No way. I
Yes, way.
didn't know that. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. And I don't
Yeah.
think that was in the press release.
No. Well, because I didn't want to, uh,
Oh, she
publicize
gave
that. She has a different last name because she's married.
right, and she gave that sting and that punch.
Yeah.
She really made you not like her, which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And the songs, I
Yeah.
remember that. That was like 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't it?
It was Christmas 2018. Hallways is the first virtual production we did, and my daughter actually edited that. So we've collaborated on different creative ventures.
Okay, so I see up here virtual stage. Okay,
Virtual stage. So those are plays that you can actually watch on our site for free. And then if you go to main stage,
okay. So this play is here.
yeah, you just click the play button and you can see the entire Carol Christmas play.
Oh my! I wish I knew this earlier during the holiday.
There she is.
I love this. Okay, that's what I'm watching tonight. Okay, Christmas to Go Away. Trust me, it's
Yeah.
a wonderful play. It's really
Yeah.
was. All right, main stage. Here we go. Uh-oh.
So this talks about all the plays. This is the season that I got to plan, and what we've done, Lorenzo, is we have just stretched our season. So the 2020 season became the 2021-22 season. So the first thing we're doing is Neil Simon's London Suite. Have you ever seen that?
No, actually.
I know.
On
I don't
stage,
think
yeah.
I don't think a lot of people have. So I thought, how fun to be able to present a relatively unknown Neil Simon play. It's like Plaza Suite and California Suite, only it's set in London.
Wow.
And then we're going to do Applause. This year, 2020 was the 50th anniversary of Applause. So we are going to have this whole 50th anniversary thing, and well, that got put to the wayside.
The
The Grandmother's House We Go is a play by Joanna Glass, and I saw that on Broadway with Ava Le Gallienne and Kim Hunter, and the Colony was doing some of my plays, and I was talking to Barbara Beckley one day, and she said, Doug, we just lost a play, and can you recommend something that's like a good American family drama? And I said, well, I just saw To Grandmother's House We Go, and it was really good. And so she said, okay. She drove to Samuel French. Remember when you could go to Samuel French? She drove to Samuel French and she bought the play and she read it and she called me. She said, I absolutely love this play. And so they did it. And it was one of the top favorite plays of their subscribers of all time. And she said people would come up to her 4 or 5 years later and thank her for doing To Grandmother's House. So I thought it would be fun to include that in the season.
So can you give a little synopsis real quick? What's it about?
Well, it's about a family where the kids don't leave.
Okay.
So grandmother, she's a widow. Her husband died, and one by one, all of her middle-aged children moved back in with her
wow.
because of failed marriages, failed careers, whatever. So they all come back to grandmother's house. So it's an interesting dynamic and dilemma, and it's actually happening more today than it was when Joanna wrote that play.
Okay.
These are headshots of the company at Group Rep.
Hey, I know Todd.
Yeah.
Van, I've seen Marie. Oh yeah. There's Cynthia,
Yeah.
Barbara, Fox. Oh, Paul. Oh my God. As far
Fox
as
Carney.
can I ask a question?
Sure.
One of my all-time favorite shows that I reviewed, I think twice, um, at your company, the Group Rep, was Paul's show with the Everly Brothers. I forget what it
Oh
was
yeah.
called. What was that called?
It was called That Lovin' Feelin'.
Oh my God. Would you guys do that one again? That was so, I mean, emotionally, brought back the memories. His performance was amazing. So the music, everyone going into the show is going to know the music, and then
Yeah.
the story behind it. And
Yeah.
is that something that can come back, or?
I don't know. It's possible. It was a Herculean effort, and I co-produced that with Larry Eisenberg. Jules Aaron directed it, but Larry and I co-produced it, and it was very scary to do that because, I mean,
Oh,
the Righteous Brothers are a national treasure. Everyone knows them, everyone loves them, and we thought, how on earth are we going to get two guys who can sing those songs? I mean, those two brothers had phenomenal voices, and
he wrote
one
it
of
though,
them,
right? Did
one of
Paul
them
write it?
was actually a member. He had just joined the theater, and we didn't know that he sang. And he sang like an angel, And the other one we brought in, and he became a member. But we had a 5-member band on stage, and one of our members of the theater, who's an actor, also played electric guitar, so we were able to do a little doubling there. But I mean, we had 5 microphones, we had a mixing board. That was very ambitious for us.
So
But
you're saying technically it was a challenge,
yeah,
but artistically, didn't it do well? I mean,
oh, it did phenomenally. I mean, we sold thousands of dollars worth of tickets before it even opened. There are people out there who are Righteous Brothers fans who saw that was coming, said, "Okay, I'm going." They didn't even wait for reviews. They said, "I'm getting my tickets."
wow. Well,
So
yeah, I mean that's one of the more memorable shows I saw. With that and the Carol Christmas, and
yeah,
you guys did a wonderful production of Streetcar Named Desire too.
yes,
Um,
yes, that was
that was
gorgeous.
fun. So,
Gorgeous.
can you tell I'm a fan of Group Rep?
I can, and I love that. I love that about you.
And I just want to stop a moment and say, hey, Hisato, look, he's in there.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I just want to go through. How many members?
We have about 110 members.
Oh,
And
Kristen. Yeah.
yes. Okay, so Schritzer Land is a record label that was created by Bruce Kimmel. For a long time, he was at Varese Sarabande, and he did all kinds of cast recordings and solo albums by Broadway people. And then he formed another label called Finsworth Alley that had a short life, and then he created Schritzer Land. So this is mostly mid-century film soundtracks and Broadway cast albums. Like if you go up to the top, there's Carol Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can have that CD too if you want.
I would love it. Please.
Yeah, yeah. If you go up to the top, it shows you can shop by category. See, it's a shop by category. So there are cast recordings, and there are well-known cast recordings like Promises, Promises, Follies. He redid Follies and remixed it, and people are, even Stephen Sondheim were like thrilled that he redid this. And then there are vocals.
Soundtracks. I'm a soundtrack collector. So
Well, look at these soundtracks. I mean, these are some are
Tom
classic
Jones.
and
Wow.
out of print, so they've been re-released on CD, and the music was re-enhanced.
Oh, you can put two movies on one. The Apartment and
Yeah,
Fortune
because
Street.
sometimes the soundtracks are really short, so
Oh, very cool. I'm actually reading them, so bear with me.
that's
Um,
okay. Yeah.
uh, okay. Anyway, I can come back to that. But
Yeah.
wow. Okay. And this is his company. You're both companies.
His company, and I work with him on it, but I design all the CDs that this company releases. So it's a lot.
Okay. I'm just going to click news real quick. Oh, Mr. Reynolds.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so you're maintaining these four websites, I take it, and
Yeah.
okay. Well, the one is basically your calling card for your design stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, didn't you send me? Let me look real quick. You sent me this. Um, more of the. I got to blow this up. This is so tiny. Um,
Yeah. I sent you this because I wanted you to see. This is these are different theater posters I've done for our theaters and other theaters.
no, no, no. I've that Avenue Q. I've seen that a
Yeah.
lot. So you
Yeah.
designed it when it originally came out?
No, no.
Okay.
So that is such a well-known logo, the Q with the fur. So I used that, and then I created the different colored ones below it because they kind of look like the signs that you have for turning on your computer. And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
and also doing male, female stuff. So uh, that was my take on I was enhancing their design.
Okay. Death Trap.
And there's Love and Feeling.
Oh, that's right. That's this one,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
If Group Rep ever puts this up one, you got to check that out. Wonderful production. Rumors. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Um,
I was in Rumors. And then this is our production of Lost in Yonkers. That just won a Broadway World Play of the Decade.
no way. Wow.
Yeah.
There's Streetcar. I remember
Yeah.
Streetcar.
Now I don't know if you can see this if on the Streetcar Named Desire poster, but that's an illustration by a painting by a woman who does all New Orleans paintings. And I contacted her. I said, I love this. Can we use this for a poster? We're a poor, starving theater. And she said, yes. And then if you scoot up a little bit, there's a photograph there of girls at a cotillion. So that
Oh,
was I meshed those two things together. So you see the girls at the cotillion, and
yep.
then it morphs into the lights, the rainy lights of New Orleans.
Yeah. Check it out. Wow. 2014. That's how long ago. Okay.
Yeah.
I tell you, I miss theater.
Flint directed that. Flint Escueta.
All right. What do we got here?
And these are just more CD covers, and I just wanted to show you the sort of broad scope of, I've done jazz, rap, children's, cast recordings,
My
rock.
Geisha. Okay. Sabrina.
Now,
Love
that's a new cover for Sabrina that I designed. And see, I put the little Eiffel Tower in the background, and the S is wrapping around it.
Wow. You're quite the graphic designer. Huh?
And there's Lucy Arnaz.
Oh, yeah.
She sent me that picture, and I put a print on her dress that looked sort of Latin. She loved it.
Very cool.
Do you know Ken Page?
I do.
Yeah. This is an evening with Ken Page, and he called it Page by Page. So he's from Kansas City, and that is the train station in Kansas City where he left Kansas City to go to New York. So, and I had him write out his journal. So that's his handwriting. So it's sort of like his story from leaving Kansas City, going to New York.
Wow. Tony Bennett. Okay.
Aaron Lazar, did you see him in Merrily We Roll Along at the Wallace Annenberg?
I don't remember.
He was in the Last Ship on Broadway.
Wow. So you've had quite the career, both acting and writing and singing and graphic designing and music. I had no idea. I had no idea. All right. So I asked this. This is a two-part question for you.
Okay.
For people watching, and listening to your obviously exciting career and obviously your artistic designs, if someone would want to go into this two parts now, someone would want to try the acting and or writing for theater or whatever, what advice would you give them? And at the same time, somebody wants to get into the music industry, be it advertising, graphic design, or whatever, how would you advise people to do that, both sides?
Well, for theater, I would say I'm a fan of training. I know there's some people who feel like that ruins your artistry, but I think if you have discipline, if you train and instill discipline into your work and are flexible and open, then you'll do better. And you have to realize, I have to say this to actors who audition all the time, is it's such a random thing. Just because you audition for something and don't get cast does not mean that you aren't wonderful. When we had auditions in New York for Inside Out, I felt like we should have paid a cover charge. We had all these amazing, amazing actresses come in, sing 2 songs for us, and they bowled us over. We could have cast that play 4 times. And so a lot of times it's mixing and matching, and maybe somebody's not available for a rehearsal or a performance, or 2 people are too much alike. You're trying to reach a balance. So I would just encourage you that if you have the passion and the discipline, to just go for it, and realize that every time you audition, you're buying a lottery ticket. And it is just as random as that. And it doesn't mean that you didn't have a good winning number. It's just that it didn't get picked. And however, if you don't buy the lottery ticket, you have no chance of winning.
Right. You're not out there putting yourself out there. Okay.
Yeah.
So can you be honest and say, like, okay, you're watching your auditions, you've got say 10 parts to cast, and you're looking for your leads and stuff. Has there been a situation that you saw an audition and you were like, you really need to go learn your craft first? I mean, how do you treat everybody the same, or do you pull them aside and say, hey, listen, or what do you do?
I try to treat everyone with respect, because I've been on both sides of that casting table. I know what that's like. So it was interesting. The very, very first play I had done here in LA was at the Fountain Theater, and it was 7 college students. So the city came out to audition. I mean, we literally had a line around the block, and I had chosen the scenes for the actors, and I wanted them to really feel like we got them. So I didn't want to just have them do a few lines. I wanted them to really go through something in the scene so we could see their work and let them know that they had been seen. And that was really hard, because what I learned is when the scene starts, within 10 seconds if the person is wrong. And if they're doing a 2 or 3 minute scene, you're sitting there knowing that the person is wrong. And do you let them continue out of respect for the work that they've done and prepped? Or do you cut it off and say thank you and spare them from having to do the scene when they're wrong? So that was a real interesting eye-opener for me.
So what do you do?
I
What did you do?
We let them do the whole scene because the director and I both felt like we didn't want to insult them, especially if they had been sitting in line, for an hour or two waiting to do this. I just couldn't dismiss them and say thank you. We let them do the whole scene.
Wow, and you had so many people to look
Yeah,
at too, right?
yeah.
It's not like in the play chorus line where it's next,
Well,
next.
with me, it wasn't that way. I know I've been to the auditions where, they give you 10 seconds and say, okay, thank you.
Bye bye.
They're
Okay.
very, very pleasant. And sometimes they're too pleasant. They'll say, thank you so much for coming. That was just wonderful. So,
And you know what they really mean, right?
well, you don't know, like I'm an optimist. So when someone tells me it's wonderful, I believe them.
Okay. Okay. So what about like the music industry now? Or graphic design? What would you say there?
Well, music is such a crapshoot.
Oh,
And having worked at 3 different record companies, I've encountered all kinds of artists, and many artists I just felt like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This music, these lyrics, these arrangements, these songs, whatever. It's so amazing. It's so exciting that we get to work on this and share this with the public, and the record bombs. How does that happen? Why didn't the public grasp this? So
so are you saying it's a
I,
potluck for each CD?
yes, I think it is luck and timing and talent. If you have the training and the talent and the discipline, and you get a hit, then the chances are that you can have a long career. Although there's no guarantee, because there's so many artists that become one-hit wonders just because nothing ever ignited after that. It's a
So
heartbreak for the people at the label too, because they get passionate about the artists that they're promoting, and they believe in the music. It's not fake. And when it just doesn't ignite, you go, well, it didn't
so
ignite.
so you think the rarities, the people like, say Michael Jackson and Cher, are they rarities in the industry?
I,
Where
I think anyone who becomes successful is a rarity.
oh,
And it's because and it can't always be based on talent, because there are people who don't seem to have a lot of talent or a huge voice or anything like that, but they just came up with the winning combination of a lyric that catches, or a even a sample. A lot of rap artists now use samples, and there's a sample that's in their beats, and it we just love it, and it just
right.
catches on.
How much would you say what percentage is actually talent though?
Well, I'd say 50% talent, and that
Okay.
goes for writing and performing.
The reason that comes into mind is we just, saw Lady Gaga at the inauguration of the new president. And I look at her visually, and she's, an icon and kind of weird in her design and style. But when she sang, I'm like, this girl has a voice. This girl has a range. This girl is talented. And
There is no denying that. I mean,
did,
I
did she
call
need
that.
that? Does she need that persona though?
Well, I don't know, but it worked for her. I mean, all of the crazy costumes she's worn and everything. I mean, not only is she an amazing singer, but she's also an amazing writer, and also an amazing visualist. She comes up with these things. So I think I'd seen in an interview one time that she followed Madonna,
Hmm.
and sometimes you have to do outrageous things to get noticed.
Right. Another icon.
Yeah.
No, there was a time people were imitating her, her whatever
Yeah.
costumes and stuff, and now she's, whatever. It's amazing how that works. But okay,
Well, I mean,
Wow.
the heartbreaking thing is when you have people that are just as talented as Lady Gaga. They've been signed by a label. The label has given them an advance. They've paid for a record. We're paying hundreds of $1,000s to promote them, and it doesn't go.
Wow. Now, is that because in the old days it used to be radio stations had to play the music? That's not the case anymore. I mean,
Right.
when's the last time you listened to the radio? Really?
Well, I listen to the radio when I drive. So
Okay. Oh, you don't do the MP3 or pop in a
no,
iTunes?
no.
Okay.
I actually my car actually has a CD player, so sometimes I listen to CDs in it. But
Okay.
I do like listening to the radio, and I do like listening to new music, and I'm always open to the possibility. I'm a Grammy voter. I've been a Grammy voter for 25 years, and I really like that because they have a site, and you can when you're looking at a category, you can just click and listen to a single or a whole album. And I've actually then made notes and gone and bought CDs based on what I heard on that website.
But see, you wouldn't have been exposed to that, right? If you didn't have that website, the Grammys,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that's my point. I think a lot of times, like you said, these really talented people, thousands and thousands of dollars into their projects, but how do you get it out there?
Well, and it's a puzzlement, Lorenzo. Um, when I was working at A&M, we had an artist on A&M called Joan Armatrading, and she's from South Africa, and she is an amazing singer songwriter. And every time we released an album, rave reviews, limited airplay, limited sales. And I think I don't remember the number, but I think we released 12 or 13 albums by her because it was always so promising. The critics were so rich with their praise for her, and it never really escalated to a level where it should be. She is as talented as Lady Gaga in her own rights, but the music is not as accessible.
Right. Wow.
So
Very insightful of you. Very
well,
insightful. Listen, Doug, this has been a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to speak with you and catch up with you, and I learned so much more about you. You're like layered. It's like, geez, what don't you do? You bake cookies? No, just kidding.
well, Lorenzo, here's a secret.
Uh-oh.
I bake cakes
Oh,
for opening night. So
you
when
do.
when we come back to performing live again, you're going to have to contact Nora and get your tickets and come opening night, because I bake a thematically themed cake for each opening.
You do. And your opening night ceremonies are always fun, and it's great to talk to the cast after the show. I wish all theaters did that, but they don't. I mean, not so much that they have to put out food or whatever, but the meet and greet, you make it very, very down to earth, and that's always fun. Especially when you can talk to the performers who do such great jobs.
It's fun to do that.
But anyway, Doug, I want to thank you for doing the show.
Thank you.
Great time. Just so everybody watching, I'm going to put his information below so you can click on all his websites, all 4 of them. And like you saw us, you can check out his music and so on and so forth. If you haven't hit the subscribe button for the Geek Authority, please do that. There's a little button with a bell on it that will let you know, send you an automatic email when I drop something, and then you can watch it whenever you have time or at your convenience. Please don't don't listen to me. Check out my other shows called Talk About, where I talk about different subjects, topics. I have the Mysterious Chamber of Collectibles, where I collect things for years, and I pull them out of my closets and show you. And I also have an unboxing where people have sent me stuff where I open up stuff and you see it and I see it. We all see it for the first time. So great stuff there. Doug, I can't thank you enough. This has been so exciting and fun and educational. And I hope my questions weren't too hard. But
no, they were great.
Anyway, but let's say bye, everybody. And thanks for watching. And we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
See you at the theater.